7 signs you're emitting angelic and demonic frequencies at once. Have you ever felt like you're both the light and the shadow? Like in one moment you're filled with compassion, love, and clarity, and in the very next breath, you're overwhelmed by anger, judgment, or envy. This isn't a contradiction. This isn't a flaw. This is a sign that something much deeper is happening within you. You might be standing at the threshold between two worlds emitting both angelic and demonic frequencies at the same time. Let's not romanticize one and demonize the other just yet. Because what if I told you that both frequencies are serving a divine purpose in your life? That your so-called darkness is not your enemy, but your initiator into profound transformation. That your light is not your perfection, but your responsibility to shine even as you're still bleeding.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
In this journey, I want to take you beyond the cliches of good vs, evil. This isn't about being high vibe all the time. This is about wholeness. What if the divine doesn't want you to erase your shadows, but to become conscious of them, to ride the edge of both frequencies with awareness so sharp it cuts through illusion itself? I'll never forget the moment I realized I was walking with both angels and demons inside me. It wasn't during some mystical retreat or meditation in the Himalayas. It happened in the middle of a fight with someone I loved. My words were sharp, my ego inflamed, my heart guarded. And yet beneath it all, a voice inside whispered, "You're doing this because you're afraid to be vulnerable." That voice wasn't judging me. It was holding sacred space for me. That was the angel within the demon, the light encoded inside my rage. You see, the first sign you're emitting both frequencies is that your emotions carry contradictory truths. You're angry, but you also care deeply. You're jealous, but you also want others to succeed. You're scared, but you still show up. This duality is not a split, it's a dance. We've been taught to suppress one side or the other, but suppression only creates distortion. The real alchemy happens when you allow both sides to speak and you listen without judgment. The second sign is that people are simultaneously drawn to you and intimidated by you. Your presence is magnetic, but it makes others confront parts of themselves they're not ready to face. You become a mirror. Some will call you divine, some will call you dangerous. Both are correct, because your frequency is not sanitized, it's real. And realness carries power, the kind of power that awakens, disrupts, and transforms. The third sign is that your intuition is sharp, but it doesn't always feel peaceful. Sometimes your inner knowing pulls you into situations that unsettle you, challenge you, even scare you. That's because the angelic frequency within you wants to grow, evolve, and serve. But the demonic frequency, when not integrated, fears change, fears surrender, fears losing control. So you feel this internal tug-of-war. One part of you is ready to leap into the unknown. The other is clinging to the familiar. And yet, both parts are sacred. The fear is there to sharpen your faith. The resistance is there to polish your surrender. Here's a question I want you to sit with. What if your fear is not blocking your purpose, but guiding you to it? Fourth, your dreams and visions are intense. You don't just dream in symbols, you dream in initiations. Your subconscious doesn't play around. It speaks in riddles, archetypes, and raw emotional textures. You've probably had dreams where you're being hunted, or where you're flying, or where you're meeting beings that feel more real than people in waking life. These are not just random firings of your brain. They are transmissions. Your soul is being shown the blueprint of your duality. The angel and the demon are both speaking to you through the language of symbols. The question is, are you paying attention? Fifth, you often feel like you don't belong, not in spiritual circles nor in worldly ones. In spiritual communities, you might feel too raw, too wild, too unhealed. In worldly spaces, you feel too sensitive, too aware, too deep. This is because you're holding a paradox within you. You are a bridge. You're not meant to fit into either polarity. You're meant to integrate them. To show others that enlightenment isn't about escaping the world, nor is it about drowning in it. It's about embodying divinity in the messiness of the human experience. Sixth, your body reacts to energy in extreme ways. You might feel sudden chills, heat, pressure in your chest or third eye, involuntary movements, or overwhelming waves of emotion. This isn't just high energy, this is multidimensional tuning. Your body is the antenna. And when you're emitting both angelic and demonic frequencies, your system is trying to harmonize a spectrum of vibrations that most people aren't even aware exists. This can be exhausting, but it's also a sign of your spiritual capacity. You're not broken, you're wired for depth. The key is learning to ground, to rest, to regulate your nervous system so that you can carry these frequencies with grace, not chaos. Seventh, and maybe the most important, you feel called to something beyond comprehension, a mission, a destiny, a soul path that terrifies and electrifies you in equal measure. You don't just want to live, you want to awaken, you want to remember. And yet, every time you get close to that awakening, something sabotages it. A distraction, a breakdown, a deep spiral into self-doubt. This is the sacred resistance, the part of you that is still attached to your old identity. The demon is not there to destroy your path. It's there to test your devotion to it. So what do we do with all this? We stop labeling ourselves as good or bad. We stop chasing only the light and fearing the dark. We become witnesses to our own inner spectrum. We learn to breathe with it, dance with it, speak to it. We cultivate the awareness to recognize when we're being pulled by our shadows and when we're being guided by our light. And we stop trying to get rid of either, because both are teachers, both are initiators, both are us. Let me ask you something. What if your soul chose this polarity on purpose? What if the very reason you're feeling torn is because you were born to weave wholeness from fragmentation? What if your chaos is not a curse, but a calling? This journey is not easy, but it is sacred. It is rare. And if you're still here, still listening, still breathing through this, then you are one of the few. The ones who carry both the sword and the chalice. The ones who can descend into their own underworld and still rise with wings intact. The ones who can love their demons until they remember they were angels all along. And that is where the real magic begins. The soul in the crossfire, why you're a living battlefield of light and shadow. There comes a moment on the spiritual path when you realize that your greatest enemy and your greatest ally are both wearing your face. That the war between your higher self and your lower self isn't happening outside you, it's happening through you. You're not just a witness to this conflict. You are the battlefield. You are the blade. You are the blood. This realization, while terrifying, is also liberating, because it means everything you've been running from, your shame, your guilt, your rage, your cravings, is not proof that you're failing spiritually. It's proof that you are in the arena, that the soul you carry is not dormant but roaring awake. You're not broken. You're in the sacred fire of transformation, and that fire burns both the illusions of darkness and the delusions of light. You see, the duality we carry isn't just philosophical, it's biological, it's emotional, it's energetic. Our nervous system is wired for both survival and transcendence. Our minds create narratives that protect us, but our souls hunger for truth that can destroy those very stories. We want peace, but we're addicted to conflict. We want oneness, but we crave separation. And right there, in that tension, that unbearable, beautiful tension, is where your spiritual power is forged. Many people try to escape this inner warfare by choosing a side. They pretend to be all light, positive, peaceful, high vibe, but inside, their shadows fester, unacknowledged and unintegrated. Others collapse into the dark, rejecting any notion of divinity, scoffing at love, numbing their pain with distraction and cynicism. But there's a third path. The path of the warrior of consciousness. The one who says, I will not choose between my light and my shadow. I will become the container that holds them both. This is no small task, because the moment you stop suppressing your darkness, it will rise up with a vengeance. It will test you, not because it wants to destroy you, but because it wants you to finally see it, to bring it into the presence of your awareness, not to fix it, not to kill it, but to witness it without flinching, because that's what the light does. It sees without judgment, and that's what the dark needs more than anything, to be seen without being banished. When you're emitting both angelic and demonic frequencies, you're actually walking the razor's edge of consciousness. One wrong move, one unconscious reaction, one egoic impulse, and you can spiral into chaos. But one conscious breath, one moment of radical honesty, and you can shift dimensions. You can become a portal of unbelievable transformation, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Your presence becomes catalytic. You walk into a room and people feel something shift. They don't know why, but something ancient inside them stirs. That's because you're not hiding anymore. You're embodying the totality of your being. But let me ask you this: are you willing to lose your image of yourself in order to meet your true self? Because that's what it takes. You have to let go of being the good one. You have to surrender the illusion that you're in control. You have to face the parts of yourself that you swore you'd never show anyone, not even yourself. And when you do, you'll meet something no religion, no guru, no book can prepare you for: your unfiltered essence. It's not all love and light. It's not all shadow and pain. It's the sacred chaos, the divine paradox, the place where angels and demons drink from the same river. This is why your soul feels like a crossfire, because it's not passive, it's not neutral. It burns, it moves, it transforms. And if you're brave enough to stop resisting that fire, to walk straight into it, you'll discover something extraordinary. You were never just the battlefield. You were always the alchemist, the mirror of others, how your energy triggers, heals, and awakens those around you. There's something you've probably already sensed, even if you haven't put it into words. People behave differently around you. Some open up to you in ways they don't with anyone else. Others recoil, project, or even lash out without provocation. And the truth is, it rarely has much to do with what you say or do. It's your energy. It's the frequency you carry, the one that holds both the angel and the demon, that acts like a mirror, a prism, and a lightning rod all at once. When you emit both light and shadow, consciously or not, you activate people. You stir up emotions in them they haven't yet learned how to face. Your presence becomes a mirror that reflects not just who they are, but who they're pretending to be. And that reflection can be terrifying. It can also be liberating. But never forget, people will react to your frequency based on their level of self-awareness, not your level of intention. This is why some people feel instantly safe with you. They sense your depth, your realness, your ability to hold space without judgment. They feel seen, not in their masks, but in their essence. You offer them a glimpse of what it means to be whole, of what it looks like to carry both darkness and light without shame. And that, in itself, is healing. You don't even need to say anything. Your very being becomes a transmission, a balm, a silent invitation to return to authenticity. But that same energy also triggers the hell out of others. Why? Because when someone has spent years building a false identity, one that denies their own shadow or pretends to be all light, your dual frequency threatens their illusion. You represent what they've been avoiding. You show them, simply by existing, that it's possible to confront your inner chaos and still walk in dignity. And that kind of truth, it's disruptive. It shakes foundations. It forces people to choose, evolve, or defend. Have you ever wondered why certain people attack your character without reason? Why you feel misunderstood, misjudged, or even feared by those who barely know you? It's not about you. It's about what you stir within them. You become the catalyst for their unconscious material to surface. And when someone isn't ready to see their own demons, they'll project them onto you. They'll call you manipulative, too intense, too dark, too sensitive, too much. But what they're really saying is, you make me feel something I don't want to feel. This is part of your spiritual path. To become so rooted in your own self-awareness that you no longer absorb the projections, but you also don't retaliate. You witness, you discern, and you choose which reflections to engage with and which to release, because not every mirror is meant to be cleaned. Some are meant to be shattered. But here's the deeper mystery. The more you integrate your duality, the more others begin to shift around you. Not because you're fixing them, not because you're preaching or teaching, but because your presence becomes a living invitation to authenticity. You become the proof that healing doesn't mean becoming perfect, it means becoming whole. And wholeness is contagious. Let me ask you something. What if your purpose isn't to change people, but to awaken them simply by being fully yourself, unapologetically, unedited, unmasked? When you stop hiding from your own contradictions, you give others permission to do the same. You begin to attract people who are done pretending, people who crave depth, truth, and resonance. Your relationships shift. Some fall away, those who were only in love with your mask. Others deepen, those who see your soul and choose to stay. And new ones emerge, connections that are not based on comfort, but on mutual evolution. You begin to realize that every interaction is sacred, that every trigger is a teacher, that every reaction is revealing a deeper layer of the collective unconscious. And as you hold space for all of it, without collapsing into other people's chaos, without dimming your light or hiding your shadow, you become something rare, a living reminder of what it means to be fully human and fully divine. Heaven and hell within, channeling your dual frequencies into sacred power. At some point on this journey, a profound shift takes place. You stop fighting your inner conflict. You stop trying to silence your demons or cling to your angels. Instead, you begin to realize both forces live inside you for a reason. And that reason isn't punishment, it's potential. Heaven and hell are not destinations. They are energies. And you have access to both, always. The question is not which one you are, but how you channel them. When you understand this, everything changes. Your anger becomes fuel for justice. Your sadness becomes a portal to compassion. Your desire becomes devotion. Even your fear becomes a compass pointing you toward what matters most. This is the alchemy of the soul, not the erasure of darkness, but the conscious transmutation of it. You stop seeing your shadow as the enemy and start seeing it as raw, untamed power waiting to be made holy through awareness. This is where you begin to walk with true sovereignty, not perfection, not moral superiority, but deep, grounded, spiritual authority. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything. The kind that doesn't react, it responds. You no longer let your demonic frequency control you unconsciously, nor do you try to bypass it with false light. You stand in the middle of the storm and breathe. You feel the rage rise and choose not to destroy. You feel the love expand and choose to embody it, even if it hurts. That's what makes you powerful, not the absence of chaos, but the mastery of it. But let me ask you a question that might shake you a little. Have you ever considered that your shadow might be the key to your spiritual gift? Now think about it. The wound you've been hiding, the addiction, the shame, the anger, the grief, what if that isn't your weakness? What if that's your initiation? What if the very frequency you've been taught to fear is the one you were born to alchemize and share with the world? That's not just healing. That's sacred service. Too many people think spiritual power looks like peace, stillness, and smiles. But real power is messy. It's fierce. It's honest. It's the kind of energy that walks into a room and unsettles everything that's not aligned with truth. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be dramatic. You just have to be fully, consciously, and unapologetically. Because when you do, your frequency does the work. It rearranges the unseen. It vibrates at a level that calls out the lies, clears the noise, and creates space for something real to be born. And that's the final secret of this entire journey. You're not meant to eliminate your duality. You're meant to channel it. To become the vessel through which heaven and hell meet, not in conflict, but in creative tension. That tension is where art is born, where truth is forged, where revolutions begin not just out there in the world, but inside hearts, inside families, inside entire timelines. You are not here to be one or the other. You are here to be both and beyond. You are the storm and the silence, the ache and the answer, the flame and the water. And when you stop resisting that truth, when you start dancing with it, life responds. The universe opens. Not because you've become pure, but because you've become real. So walk with your demons, talk with your angels. Let them both teach you. Let them both shape you. And then rise not as someone who's conquered themselves, but as someone who's remembered themselves. Entire, unshamed, infinite. And if you ever doubt who you are, just look at the path you've walked, the fire you've survived, the light you still carry. That's not an accident. That's sacred power. That's you.